This is Twit.
Ron Skoletsky said, "Hi, Steve. I'm relatively new to security now, so I apologize if you've already covered this. I work as an account manager for a small IT managed services provider, an MSP, in Oregon. We've never really pushed or offered specific password managers to our clients. Some of our clients use KeePass. One uses a cloud-based password manager. I've been trying to get our operations folks to come up with a password solution that they're comfortable standing behind, but many of them hate having passwords under the control of a third party, especially if it's in the cloud. Are there any cloud-based password managers you would be comfortable recommending for company use, specifically for a small company that doesn't have any servers on premises? For example, they use Microsoft Entra ID for authentication and Intune for management, but all other business services are in someone else's cloud. Thank you, Ron." Okay, so the best answer I have to that need is also a sponsor of the Twit Network. I say that right up front because anyone's natural first inclination would be to suspect bias in this, and I understand that. Let me tell you factually why this is the case. The factual characteristics which undermine, which underlie underlie my inherently rational choice of Bitwarden.
Yay. Okay, sorry.
Password security.
I was holding my breath to see which sponsor you were gonna mention. Good choice.
The software is open source.
Yes.
With an active community surrounding it. So it's not just open source without anyone paying attention to it. And there are such projects, it's open source, but no one's looking, so you don't get any benefit there, really. It's open source with a great many people actively involved and scrutinizing what's going on. Second, to be maximally useful, any password manager needs to be widely cross-platform, thus able to have its many various instances, whether across multiple desktops or mobile devices, all kept synchronized. That's what makes a password manager valuable, is multi-platform and synchronization. The subject line of Ron's email was safety of cloud-based password managers. So that appears to be the issue that's causing his concern. And I understand that. But while Ron's company's operations people may hate, he used the word hate, having passwords under the control of some third party, some means of synchronization must be provided in order to obtain that major benefit of password management. Which brings us to the other reason to choose Bitwarden, pure rational choice, because Bitwarden allows users who feel this way to host their own cloud-based password synchronization service should they choose. So
not only that, because it's a well-supported protocol, there are third-party Bitwarden vault servers. Was one written in Rust that's quite good.
Right.
And so you really have some choices.
So Ron, since your company is a small IT managed services provider, I would assume that servers exist somewhere.
One would think.
Yeah. So it might well be possible for your company, to bring up its own Bitwarden synchronization service, exactly as Leo was saying, specifically to prevent that third-party dependence that concerns some of those within your organization. But that said, since Bitwarden's technology is entirely end-to-end encrypted in the true sense of the term that we clearly articulated last week, where they have no access to their client's password and other data storage, the option to move to a self-hosted cloud solution, just having the option, might be sufficient to make them comfortable using Bitwarden's provided hosting service, which actually I think makes much more sense. I use it without a second thought.
Me too.
You're not going to find anybody who's more concerned about the security of the things that I'm storing in my password manager.
And they're ISO 2012, they're all of the different standards certified and stuff. This is, though, if you really did insist on it, this is the one that I think a lot of people prefer, the Rust-based server for Bitwarden called Vaultwarden. It's because it has an API, has a client API, so it works just fine. There is a official Bitwarden server based on .NET, but I think a lot of people prefer this Rust solution. So the fact that even that choice exists is kind of encouraging, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, and to me, that closes the deal. Open source, people are active with it, and they're, yes, they're a sponsor of the Twit network, but that it's also the right solution.